Well, it seems like the consumer is at a loss yet again. GM is recalling almost 1 million engines. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Not recalling yet, but let's just assume that they're going to come to their senses and actually make a recall. They're investigating 877,000 cases of premature 6.2 liter engine failure. And if you like this kind of stuff, like, comment, and subscribe. And you know what? Hit me up in the comments about this. Like, have you been wronged by a garbage 6.2 or even 5.3 of the new generation LT engine? This recall affects about 877,000 vehicles that ranges from everything and anything that has the 6.2. Yukon, Denali, Sierra, Silverado, High Country, you name it. If it's in 2019 to 2024 and it's got that 6.2, you might be affected by this issue with these supposed failures. And I'm kind of seeing something not line up, because people are saying the recall is about rod bearing failures specifically, which kind of would be like a lack of oil. But then they also suffer from the possibility of the displacement on demand wiping itself out at the same time. So you got a double-edged sword here. Your engine might die because of the faulty crap lifters that they put in these engines, or because of the garbage lack of oil circulation. Must be, because why else are they pulling these engines apart and all the rod bearings, even the main bearings, I've seen some pictures, all the bearings in the whole engine you're seeing the copper come through, which means lack of oil in, as far as I'm concerned. So hopefully that's not an issue going forward. And now this is being specific from 2019 to 24. There are some cases as little as 12 miles. So basically the thing got started up, driven off the back of a semi, and put in the dealer lot, maybe taken for a test drive, and sold with a handful of miles, and it blew up. Now, obviously, this is something that's being fixed under warranty, as it is clearly in the warranty period, but this is completely outrageous. Like, what is going on with new cars? And I'm kind of going to go off a bit here. We have so much education. Like, AI is out now. There's so much autonomy inside everything that is the auto industry. The engineering is technically at a degree we've never seen before. Yet, they keep building stuff that literally dies so fast. And it's across all the manufacturers. Like, is engineering, like, is it, like, do you just reach down a cereal box and pull out your engineering degree? And I don't even care if you get mad at me for that. Like, it's crazy. Like, what's going on here? Why is it that we built in 1955 a small block Chevy V8? That engine went over almost 50 years in production. I rebuild them in my garage on a floor, like, with just regular parts, and they go hundreds of thousands of miles with no special anything. Now, if you hate Chevys, well, you're in luck, because the same could be said about Ford. The Windsor 289 came out in 65. That engine ran almost 50 years as well. A little, well, not quite 40, let's say. Those engines last forever. The Dodge, the 318, also mid-60s, ran for 40 years almost. Lasts forever. And you could rebuild it on the floor in your front yard. You could roll it onto the grass and rebuild it in your front yard. Slam it in your car, turn the key, and drive. Why the hell can't we build cars these days with the amount of engineering, autonomy, computers, everything that goes into it? Why can't we build anything that lasts, like, at all? And of course, you know, well, it's made to break. It's built to break, because that way, you know, you're going to fix it. And you know what? I really entertain that argument, because I agree with it, really, because, and only because nothing else makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. People were buying Toyotas, longtime Toyota lovers, because they lasted forever. No one's buying Toyotas because now their trucks blowing up left, right, and center. They have electrical problems. There's all these issues, and there's no way you can tell me that, oh, we have top-notch engineers and top-notch engineering team, and they're doing the best they can, and we can't figure it out. And you know what? Hey, we design things, it breaks, it happens. But for it to be happening all the time is completely unacceptable, especially when there's $100,000 price tag attached to it. Now, this recall is specifically targeted at the 6.2 liters, and obviously GM also makes a 5.3 and now a 6.6, all LT based. There have been, since the dawn of AFM/DOD, which is the placement on demand, where it shuts down 4 cylinders, death of the LS engines when that came out in, I believe, 2007. Maybe I'm wrong by a year or so. I am literally sitting in my 2010 Silverado with 279,000 miles, and depending on where you live, 450,000 kilometers, which is crazy. And I've done a million videos, well, a couple, on this truck now. Ask me how many times I've replaced the engine. 0. Ask me how many times I've replaced pretty much anything. 0. I wanted to trade this truck in a handful of years ago, and I didn't. Honestly, I should have, but I just didn't. And now I'm sitting here thinking, like, I have to keep this thing now. Because if I go and buy a brand new $100,000 truck tomorrow, because I probably would get something with the 6.2, because I just want the extra power, the fuel economy is basically the same, and it blows up, number one, I'm going to be pretty upset because it's brand new. What's going on, right? But number two, I'm probably going to keep it after it's out of the warranty period, and when I'm on the hook for fixing that, and you know what, I'll do it myself. I'll rebuild it myself, not a problem. But you know what? The parts are still a couple grand to redo, you know, if you got cam lifters, gaskets, everything, plus the time, and it's just, again, it's totally unacceptable. And I realize that a lot of these videos just shower you with all the facts and numbers and whatever, and that's fine, but the thing is, I'm not here to read off of a paper or read off of something I found on the internet. The fact is that they have almost 1 million vehicles and they aren't making a recall is insane. This happened the same thing with the transmission shutter with the A8 automatic transmissions, which is 8-speed transmissions. They never made a recall. They just put a bulletin, and most people have it covered, but some don't. So is this going to be the same fate where they just fix it as a case-by-case basis instead of making a recall? Well, probably, because it's going to cost them a pile of money to replace all of these automatically under warranty. And that's just going to exacerbate the part shortage that a lot of manufacturers are still facing. There are reports of people with brand new Silverado EVs with dead batteries, and they're basically brand new with a couple thousand miles, and they are waiting months to get a battery. Meanwhile, GM's pumping them out every day, but they can't get a battery. Why not? Where are they? I am probably one of the biggest, like, I'm pulling for Chevy every time. You know, I'm pulling for North America. I want our local brands to succeed. That's why I generally buy our local brands right across the board. I slipped up once, and I regretted it because I had problems. But this can't continue. This can't continue. I know everyone, you know, we're having, market crash and blah, blah. You know what the real market crash is going to be? Consumer confidence, or lack thereof. And that results in no one buying new vehicles. And the numbers technically are up year over year, right across the board for most manufacturers, except for Stellantis, and we all know why. There's videos of that out there, and I've made a couple myself, because it's pretty easy to rip on them, because it seems like everything they do is literally wrong. But I mean, what are we supposed to do? People need vehicles. We need reliable vehicles to get around. We are under the impression that if we get something with warranty, it's going to last, we're going to have no issues, and just not even about warranty. We shouldn't even be thinking about needing warranty. The thing is that you go walk into a dealership and you buy a brand new, I don't care if it's a $20,000 Chevy Trax or a $100,000 decked out Denali, it should work. Every single time that you flick the key, it should go and do whatever it is you need it to do, no questions asked. And again, this is another problem where we are left scrambling. And I mean, maybe some people think, oh, well, whatever, I'll just buy a Ford, or I'll buy a Dodge, or I'll go buy whatever instead. And the thing is, it just doesn't matter. You know, we got the Hemi-Tick, we got EcoBoost dying, we got transmissions, like, it's just right across the board, there's problems. You guys at all these factories really need to step up the game and start making cars like they did literally almost 50 years ago, where you just drove it and it kept going. because we drive more than ever. We need a dependable vehicle more than ever. And if you're one of these people that have been, I don't want to say wronged, but affected by this engine failure, hit me up in the comments. I'm really curious what your story is, because I had a 6th gen Camaro, no problems. I had it for almost 5 years. It was great. But again, hey, all the Camaro forums, oh, a lifter died, took out the whole motor. Actually, you know what? I do want to say something that I do find pretty interesting. And that is that a bunch of photos have surfaced